Hello, everybody. It seems that there was a quick hiccup with getting everybody's cameras in here, but we seem to be all good to go now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of Mattch Review. I'm Matt Beach, and I'm here today with the lovely and extremely talented Varsity Rocket League team for DePaul Esports. So we have Lavish, Jacko, and Black Wraith here with us today. Everybody, do you want to introduce yourselves really quick?
Sure. I'll start. I'm Lavish. My name is Spencer Feet. I'm a sophomore at DePaul, and I'm a business major. And I've been playing Rocket League since, I think, 2016. But I joined the team end of my freshman year. So, yeah.
Nice.
All right. I'm Linus Chaco Savickas. I'm the captain of the Rocket League team. I'm a senior studying computer science. And I started playing Rocket League like a few months after it came out, about August 2015. And I was one of the original founding members of the team back in a long time, like 3 years ago. It's been a while
now. My name is David Adeyemi. I go by Black Wraith. I'm a grad student. I'm studying digital media. I'm in my first year right now. I started playing Rocket League when it came out, but I didn't like it at first, and I stopped playing for a year and a half, which I really hate because I could be so much better than I am, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of tough to draw, you know? It's like sometimes taking a long time, it's like getting that long break, it kind of like lets you like clear your mind out. Sometimes you kind of wish that you practice more. It's kind of weird to find that balance. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for coming by today. Our Rocket League team is pretty busy. They've been very busy people over the past like year of playing, even though we've been all online. There's been EGF leagues, there's been the Play VS League, and all sorts of like, you know, kind of like quick one and done tournaments that have come up over the past few months. So we've got we have clips from 3 matches actually to look at today. One is going to be from UT Arlington, another one from a match against Minnesota. I believe, is it just University of Minnesota, or do you remember like exactly how?
It's University of Minnesota. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. So University of Minnesota, 2 clips from 2 different matches from those actually as well. So definitely really exciting stuff. Unlike the last match review, which was on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as like a player and team captain of that team myself, it was a lot easier for me to give like my own personal insight on a lot of like the strategy and gameplay that was going into that. This is going to be a little bit different because as much as I like to watch Rocket League, as far as like playing goes, I'm pretty much as new as you could get. I've only played like 1 or 2 matches ever. So it's going to be a lot more of me trying to, learn about the strategy, learn about the inner workings of Rocket League just as much as everybody else watching. So this is going to be really exciting. Can't wait to get started. So as we kind of kick off into the UT Arlington match, what was kind of like the practice like going into this specific match? And like, what did you know about the opposing team during preparation?
So they're known as like a very good team. They're a CRL team. They didn't have all of their players, but typically it's Adverse, Samba, and I can't remember the Nama. Yeah, so they're a very good team. So we were already expecting like going into it to like have to work for it. This was actually game 3 where we were already down 0-2 in the series. And just going into it, David Spencer and I have had some practice playing together, but definitely not as much as I think we would like. But going forward, maybe we can just keep that going. But we did have scrims prior. We played against Villanova, one of the Big East schools that we play against. And things went really well. We played some ranked games. We actually started this game early, about like 30 minutes earlier than was expected. But we still felt hot going into it. But just a really good team in general.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so then
you'll see, like we're kind of just like this game was, we were just all over them. It was going crazy. We were down 0-2, like backs against the wall, and then we're all over them.
That's cool. Do you think it was like kind of that mentality of like, oh, we're like behind now, we really need to like kick it into high gear? Do you think that's what kind of pushed you to kind of start to mount the comeback?
I think partially. I think that's part of it. It was just a lot of like we were going over things between games, what we could do better, what we should be improving on. And I feel like this game was just one that we really were like settled in our play style and controlling the ball the way we wanted to. And we were just catching them by surprise. They were expecting us a lot of the time to like hit the ball back to them. And when we took it under control, made some like solo plays, it really opened up the field for us and allowed us to just kind of go on a scoring rampage.
Okay, nice. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but you ended up winning this. You ended up winning this set with a. Was it like? Did you just completely reverse sweep them from here on out, or was there still a couple of games you ended up dropping in the set or in like the series?
No. So we actually lost this series. The next game, their player adverse just went absolutely nuts. We definitely had trouble challenging him. It made it a little awkward because he was individually, I feel like, just so much better than the rest of the players. Because, like I said, I think 2 of the players were the B team players, which is still they're still an excellent team, and just him being there is like that wild card. I feel like that was one thing that really was like a wrench in our plans.
I gotcha. So then, do you think it was was this something you kind of like anticipated going into this match? Was it like, you have to play around like these this like one superstar player, or was it mostly just like, okay, this, the opposing team just has like a really, really strong synergy, we need to like try and match up against it and like kind of counter it, would you say?
To me, it felt like it was different than playing, because actually about a week prior, Shakuki, Sam, Black, and then David and Spencer played against them and went up 2-0, and unfortunately they got reverse sweep. So we were like, I feel like once we went down 0-2, it was in that we were like, now we have to reverse sweep them, I guess. But unfortunately that didn't end up happening. And then I think going into it, we were expecting, at least I personally was expecting, like their full roster, and then when they weren't there, it seemed a little different. I don't know. It wasn't exactly what we were expecting, and I think the style was a little off.
It kind of threw us off because like we don't know who exactly we're playing until we join the match.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's definitely familiar with a lot of different esports, especially ones where like you can have very customizable like team rosters. There's definitely a lot of the element of surprise, I guess.
Right.
They could be used. You could use like to your advantage, but also could be used against you. So it's interesting. Yeah. It's interesting to see how that like factors into different competitive matches individually here.
Yeah, at the college level, I think it's really common to have like one player that's so much better than the other people. And sometimes it's like a disadvantage to like, because if everyone's playing at the same speed, it's like really kind of easy to rotate around your opponents as well. Like if one person's just like taking the ball all the time, sometimes it's easier to shut down one person, but if you can't do that, then it's kind of like confusing sometimes.
Right.
I gotcha. Well, yeah. So then, how do you think this team works then? Apologies of putting somebody on the spot if this is like somebody on the team is like carrying the other two, but how do you think that kind of synergy like lines up here? Like, do you think everybody has like a very dedicated role that they serve on the team, or is there is it kind of just like funneling into like one player's strategy and trying to make the best use out of them as possible?
I think in this series we did a lot of solo plays specifically, which is like you take the ball, like he takes the ball and he flicks it over. And it's kind of like slowing the play down in a way to try to bait in like a defender, and then you can either 50-50 him or flick over him, and that kind of like opens up space for your teammates to kind of move into the play and get open for a pass. And I think that's one thing that we utilized a lot this game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about like using the space that's given to us. A lot of teams, especially like a team that's better than you, will end up expecting you to be panicking, hitting the ball back. But it's all about like being able to control the ball and then use the space that you do have and that you are given to make the plays. So in this game, I think we utilize that really effectively. And that's really one thing that we do work on. It's a lot of ones kind of based play style. That's why we stress playing ones. We don't do it like crazy, but I think we definitely play a good amount. And it plays into it because instead of just hitting the ball away and just hoping to like play really fast, go for like just crazy aerial fast plays, we like to force the opponent into a decision by taking control of the ball. And then we can either decide if he's starting to challenge you. Most of the time, your teammate's going to be open somewhere across, and you can look for a flick across. If he starts challenging the pass, we look for a shot towards the net. And it's not like a direct. It's always all up in like the air. Rocket League is a game that like no two games will ever play out anywhere near the exact same way because every touch, every little thing, it's such a there's such like minute little details and fine details that play into a game of Rocket League. But that's kind of what we like to focus on.
Okay, that's really neat. So you would say that's more of like a like an overarching strategy of the team, not necessarily something that you chose for this match in particular.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, we do have a few different play styles that we like to employ. There's like counter attacks that we like to play through if the other team is challenging early. That's one thing we like to play. That play style I said before, when the team is kind of waiting back and just seeing if we're going to hit the ball back to them. It's all about kind of just being able to adapt mid game and then make those decisions as to how the other team's playing, what they're doing, and then what we should do to counter that and win the game. And I think we all like play a part in it. Our play style, there's no way that one player would be able to just kind of go in and carry. Obviously, it happens if someone's feeling themselves. Like, I'm going to just let him take the ball all he wants. But overall, it really just relies on like the 3-man unit to work.
Right.
Okay. Nice. Okay, that was actually a really good answer. Thank you. Anything else? Anything else you two wanted to add to it, or you think Jacko just kind of summed it up pretty well?
I think you did a pretty good job.
Yeah, pretty much nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay, nice. So that was the match against UT Arlington. Now we've got another state, another school. This is University of Minnesota. What was the plan against them? How did the matchup kind of differentiate itself compared to UT Arlington?
So just as like my thoughts, we can kind of all go over our quickly thoughts on this, but we had played UMN. It was me, David, and Sam Shakuki. Lavish wasn't playing that day. And against them, I don't know, it's always feeling it out. At this level, teams can play like different play styles and play in different ways. But we just kind of went into it hoping to just play our game where we take control of the ball and just feel it out to start and then work from there, basically. If that's not working, we'll try and change something up. If we feel like we're just doing things well, but it's not working out, we'll keep things going the same, just kind of focusing on like the touches and just really getting the core fundamentals down and then just going from there. But we played last week and we lost 3-1. We again went down 0-2 and then won a game and then ended up losing. So we kind of had a rough idea, but it wasn't with Spencer, so things are always different. Even if it's just one player being swapped out, everyone's individual play style, no matter like what play style you're playing, is still going to be different. And it's just kind of something to adapt and work on.
And in this series, it was a lot different than playing UT Arlington, just because Minnesota has like 3 really solid players. Like I think they were a CRL team maybe last season, which means that's like the big Rocket League tournament. So
Right.
For them to qualify and make that, you kind of have to have 3 solid individual players. So that was different from the last series that we played because they kind of had one person who really made all the plays for them, like air dribbled everything like Adverse did in that last series. So that kind of was something that took a little bit to adjust to.
Yeah, so you would say it was much more an aspect of like sticking with your main game plan, but also just like fine tuning it for some very specific interactions. Okay,
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. Well, then, how would you say? Did you know anything about like the specific like game? Like, I guess we could get into like specific like matchup details. Did you say there was anything specific towards like the team synergy and the overall strategy that you were familiar with regarding Minnesota? Since you'd mentioned that maybe not the exact same roster, but the same team at DePaul has like played against them before. Like, was there anything specifically you went into like preparing for in terms of that those like kind of like adaptations we were talking about?
For me personally, I knew like right away. I mean, he's not like I don't think any of those players are like miles above any of the other. But I know Mom is a good mechanical player, so it was just something to be watching out for as we were playing. But overall, it felt right away like they were playing completely different to UT Arlington, and that definitely plays into when you're playing a series, like Spencer said, when you're playing like back-to-back series. when it's such a wildly different team kind of that we're playing against, it can definitely make things feel a little awkward sometimes. And I think we had trouble like just kind of getting into that groove. There were a lot of close games in this series, and I feel like if we even if we won this first one, I think we could have just taken it all the way home.
So you definitely think there was like a matter of like momentum, like just player and like team momentum that like goes into this game and just like, Rocket League in general?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely
Okay.
very important. Like once you kind of, especially if you start getting like pretty far ahead, and then when you're up 2-0 in a series, it's a lot less pressure on you. I mean, after I think all this time playing, we don't really feel that kind of pressure. Whether we're 2-0 up or 0-2 down, it's still we're playing our game. I just think it was their play style was a lot more passive, and which was a complete difference. Where it was UTA playing two people that were kind of running around, going at the ball, and then adverse just going crazy. Here it was everyone was sharing the ball. They were like slowing plays down a lot. You see like passing around, kind of just a completely 180 from the team that we had just played before.
Right.
Okay. Interesting. So then I guess this is more of a meta question, but how exactly does like passive play work to like an effective degree in Rocket League? Just like, explain it, I guess, in like layman's terms for a little bit more of a newbie such as myself.
Well, passive just means like how I was saying in the UTA series, it's all about just using the space that we have and kind of just controlling the ball. So a lot of teams will like to use their speed, and they'll just hit the ball as hard as they can at every opportunity, and then have their teammates going really fast in transition and just kind of going as fast as they can and relying on themselves being faster than the other team and just beating them to the ball. Whereas in our play style, you can see a lot of the times we won't just hit the ball away. We'll take a touch, we'll slow down the play, and then we'll build out of the back and like create the plays instead of just kind of hoping they'll show up because we're faster than them.
Okay, that makes sense. So this would be the correct me if I'm wrong, but this would have been the second time that this team had ever have that DePaul had ever played against like Minnesota, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I know we have another clip from them right over here, and I was wondering, like, I don't know, I wasn't able to tell right away if this was like if this was the earlier time you had played against them, or if this was like a third time you had played against them. So
I think this was the series yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So this was just yesterday.
Yeah,
Right.
all of these games were from yesterday.
All these games were from yesterday?
Yep.
Well, that makes a lot more sense now. Now I know why it took us until today to get all of the videos put together.
Yeah. We were literally just played these last night at like 7 and 8 o'clock.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's perfect. I guess it makes it so like the match is fresh in your head, so it's easier to reflect on, I'd imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So then this is another game in like the same series. Was there anything that you I know that you'd mentioned that like between different games you kind of chat with each other, try to figure out like what you could be doing differently. What was some of the things that you came up with in between matches here?
I think in this game, I mean, me specifically, I kind of just tried to outpace them. Because I feel like all of us were kind of same like skill, like individually, like we can all like keep up with each other, but I felt like for us it was a matter of playing a little bit faster than them. And that way we can just beat them to the balls if we just challenge them faster. And that sets up us to like make more plays.
Okay.
So.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think at this level, everyone's pretty consistent. So in terms of hitting the ball, like you shouldn't really expect people to miss. So I think like you should try to do something that the other team won't do and try to get creative with it. And so like if you want to play faster than them, you can try to cut off like half rotate, which is basically not rotating all the way back. You rotate to the halfway boost and you turn around quickly so they don't expect you to be there.
Right.
And that's all just kind of trying to outpace them and catch them off guard and do something they don't expect.
Okay. So it's a big matter of like trying to mix up your opponent.
Exactly.
Okay. Very nice.
Is this game 2? Do Linus or David, do you guys remember?
I don't know what order.
I don't remember which game this is.
I know the other one was game 1, but both of the other ones ended 4-1. So I'm
okay.
not 100% sure. I think it would be the second one if they're in order. I want to say this was the second one, yeah.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, I think definitely half rotating is one of those like little things. It's definitely tough to incorporate, and I think just with more experience playing with each other, I think we can like kind of fully flesh out that fast play style. Because ours is very like collected, and then in times when we do start playing fast, like there are times where we just look scary, like we're just flowing, everything's going so fast. We're playing like this individual play style, and we're still just like going at a much faster speed. Even if we are controlling the ball, we're willing to make like fast plays and get fast passes around, and then control the ball from there.
Right.
So I think it adds a higher risk to the play, but if it is done properly, it makes us like near unbeatable.
Right. I think that makes sense. I know that a lot of people like when when they first like discover Rocket League, like just as a spectator sport, it's very much like it's like, soccer with cars. It's like but the reality is, there's so many different like techniques and like unique game mechanics that give it like such like I want to say like a heightened level of like technical finesse. So do you think that's like a major factor in how you say like playing faster, like just making sure that your ability to perform all sorts of like really intricate like techniques or like maybe like air dribble stuff like that is like really, really important? Make sure you're not messing that up when trying to play a little faster.
Yeah, I definitely say so. Mechanics are definitely a big part of playing faster. Definitely being able to individually beat the next defender on the ball. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
But yeah, just to add to that, it's all about like the one skill as well, being able to reliably at any given moment, like just put yourself in a position where you can use many mechanics is what really kind of can throw off the other team. Like in any given position, you could say be able to do 4 or 5 different things. If you're able to do that, it'll really help you, I guess, stay unpredictable, and on top of that, just stay fast. You could set up like say something, it looks like you're doing an air dribble, and then you end up going for like a ceiling shot or a ceiling pinch, or you're going off of the wall and then you do a flip reset when it looks like you're gonna just hit the ball. There's a lot of, and being able to do that at speed is really what will be able to mask that from the other team and then stay unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think that's something that I feel like that's a concept that I feel like I can make good use of, even like in like other esports, like even in fighting games. That's a really big idea. Is like, having such a mastery and like such fluidity in like your techniques and just like your matchup knowledge that you remain unpredictable just on the notion that your opponent has to consider so many different options that you could pull out at any given time. And so it makes it, not only that much easier to mix up your opponent, but also that much more difficult for your opponent to see even something more obvious like coming their way. So it's interesting to see like different concepts like that, like kind of overlapping between different games.
Yeah, in the UT Arlington game, that's kind of a big reason of why we lost, because Adverse, he just air dribbled literally every single ball. I think in the whole series, he probably scored like 8 or 9 air dribbles against us. So, and he's just so quick and so like he just makes all these micro touches on the ball that are almost impossible to read. So he's able to score like that, like 9 times out of 10.
I feel like we saw it coming though, towards the end.
Oh yeah,
but,
for
we were boosted so much. Like there'll be 2 of us just like sitting on the goal line and we can't do anything, and you just air dribble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I was saying when we were playing, it reminded me of Seton Hall with Tone. Tone is like a much better player, and he's like an individual that's a lot better than the other 2 players. The other 2 players are good, but Tone is just like on a whole nother level. And basically the other 2 would just be running around, bumping us, boost starving us, doing whatever they can to throw us off. And then Adverse would come in with full boost and he'd be able to make a play. And we're just like struggling. We're trying to dive, do whatever we can to stop it. but when he has 100 boost and can't get like a proper early challenge on him, he's just gonna take it all the way and like just air dribble from his half into like our top corner. I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
I guess we get scored on.
That's crazy. Almost just like a brute force strategy you can employ
Right.
just by being that tricky with like your gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
It's
really
just
interesting.
something like adapted around. So it really helps. It's a big part of it is the other two, like having the confidence in him to be able to score, and they just run around and just try to mess us up, take the
Yeah.
boost, bump us, do what they need to do to give him the space to be able to make the plays.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when he can't make the plays, it makes it a lot easier for us to just beat them. Like in the 7-0 game that we won, I don't think I saw Adverse go for anything that whole game, and we were able to 7-0 them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice. So, yeah, once again, just playing into it, it's like the more simplified somebody's playing gets, like whether it's just like the amount of tricks that they have or the amount of the amount of like techniques that they're able to perform. Like once that is like minimized, it becomes that much easier to formulate like a simple game plan. It's just zero in and just be like, okay, this is the goal that like we need to get past. Once we do that, we could start scoring a lot more points. We could start playing around their offense a little bit more easily. So, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, yeah, I mean that's all 3 matches. So you said those are all from yesterday, and yeah, so that was all recent. So you guys quite literally hot off the presses. As soon as you're done playing your match, you're already on stream talking about it. So
It's fresh stuff.
yeah,
but I don't even see it as even though we did end up losing both of those series overall, I don't know, it didn't really feel like it was just us necessarily playing poorly or like not doing the right things. It just felt like there were some executions and then they would capitalize and we just get scored on and then we couldn't make that back. We'd be building plays really well. We'd be like setting everything up, coming in, and then once like if a shot didn't end up going in and then transitionally we'd get scored on, and then it was just a few like kind of mistakes that they instantly capitalized on and then we couldn't come back from it. So it felt like we were playing well but then just still getting scored on.
Yeah, it also makes it hard because those are probably both top 25 like national college teams. So
and with our like
playing them back to back.
Yeah, and then our lack of experience. It's not like a complete lack. We've played a lot of games together, but to compete with teams like those overall, it's just like you need. Those teams have probably been playing together for a few years now, and they have that synergy. They have the time that they've put in, and they have the skill to like just really shine. And I think with that kind of experience, we'd be able to take it all the way too.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's hoping, I mean, what's up next for the team? Like, what do you guys got coming up on the horizon, if anything at all? I know that, like, team competition is kind of winding down since the year is slowly but surely coming to a close. We're already past midterms of spring quarter, so we're starting to really get the crunch hour.
Seriously. Well, we got Spoons on the come up.
Yep.
Shout out to Jeremy.
Yeah,
He's
I know
practicing.
Spencer's been doing. Yeah, Spencer set up a whole like training regime for him. We've been watching over him. We've been watching him do all his training, and he's just improving rapidly.
Oh yeah.
So CRL better watch out. There's a new player coming in.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, well, that's really great. I know that there's been a lot of, I guess the last thing we could talk about really quickly while we're all still here is I know that, you did say that, like, it's still kind of like a matter of gaining that experience as a team. I know that, Jacko, you've been around for like a hot minute, I want to say, in terms of like competing like for DePaul and Rocket League. But I know there's definitely been a number of like roster changes over this past year, especially. So do you think that like you're starting to really get into the groove of things, like starting to figure out like which teams are best, like which team comps are best in which scenarios, like which players are like best with other players? Have you started to really figure out that like team synergy overall yet? Or is it still something you think you could be working to iron out over the next few months?
I think it's still something to work on. I think over summer, I mean, I'm going to be seeing my way out soon. So we have Shuck Cookie that's going to be stepping in. But over the summer, it's going to be just a time that we need to utilize and get as much of the practice in as we can, like the off season, I guess, per se. and just kind of push it forward and use the time that we have to really get that experience that we might be lacking on the other teams.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not something about a combination of players or whatever. It's more about just getting the hours in with a certain, roster and getting a feel for what other people like to do on your team and playing around that.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Well, then, yeah, I mean, it's great to see that, everybody is so motivated to get better. That's definitely, at least personally, one of my favorite things to see in any esports team is just people motivated to, like, just not worry too much about what's happening in the moment, but look at the bigger picture and be like, okay, we're going to work towards this goal. Even though, we may have lost this match, we still won those other matches, and we're still making progress in these aspects, It's a whole, like, learner's mentality that's really great to see. So definitely really excited to see where the team goes next. Definitely going to be keeping an eye out. There's been plenty of successes before, plenty of successes this year, and I have a feeling we're very far from seeing the end of DePaul's Rocket League success. So really exciting stuff.
Absolutely.
So thank y'all for joining. Is there anything else that everybody wanted to say in regards to like the different matches, or maybe just like quick plugs for Rocket League or your social media or anything of that sort?
Go follow us, Twitter, DePaul Rocket League, DPU Rocket League. Just the general DePaul Esports Twitch channel. This is our overarching. I love these programs that we're starting to do now. It's good to like really get an insight into the individual teams, and it's awesome to have Jeremy, who's like kind of really working in with you guys, because he can, just having him in our community, it helps with our content as well individually and just branching out to the overall DePaul Esports. But always got to shout out Carter Kennedy. He's our honorary community member. He's a great player, and he always comes and joins us. So love having him around. And then always shout out Shakuki. He's peaking. Keep going. He's playing so well right now. We just wanted to get these games in so we could get this replay review together. But we're going to have Shakuki keep playing in and just keep improving. He's still a freshman, so he's got a lot of years to play. And I'm just excited to see his improvement throughout the years.
Yeah, very exciting.
All right. Well, add something.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add, or are we all good to go?
Thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. Thank you all again so much for hopping on and talking about Rocket League with me. Again, like I said, this is a sport this is like an esport that I've definitely watched a lot, but have not played a lot. So it's really interesting to see like how now next time, like I'm going to be watching a Rocket League match, I'll be able to like apply a little bit more like team knowledge and strategy. Be like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I think this is something that I recognize like from, the last time that we talked about the game and like strategy over here. So really hope that the same could be said for anybody that's watching that is not quite as familiar with Rocket League. It is free to play right now. Bit of a more recent development. So
yeah, about a few months ago, they dropped the game free to play. That's probably like half a year now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The player base has been like skyrocketing, so that's awesome to see. Hopefully, we'll see how the competitive scene evolves overall, not just in collegiate, but just like the Rocket League esports in North America, EU. And I want to see a LAN so bad.
Oh yeah,
see all the teams playing against each other. It would be so sick.
Soon enough, we'll get there soon. Yeah, and I know that the Rocket League community has community nights that go on every, I think, Monday night. Is it
Monday night?
Okay.
Lane hosts those. I believe there's 6 or 7. I can never make.
I think there's 6 p.m. Yeah.
6 p.m. community night. We play all sorts of games. It doesn't necessarily like Rocket League. Anyone's welcome to join. It's sometimes Rocket League, sometimes custom maps in Rocket League, but we've also done like Scriblio, playing. I don't know if they've played Among Us, but Cards Against Humanity, just kind of all sorts of just silly games as a way to just have the community members mesh with the players themselves and just kind of get everyone involved.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, to anybody watching that is interested, Rocket League community nights, definitely a really great community overall. In terms of just like, just hopping in, getting involved with the people, getting some Rocket League in, apparently also get some Scriblio in. Everybody's got to get some Scriblio in at some point. Awesome. Exactly. At some point in your lives, you got to play some Scriblio. But any case, that's going to be it for episode 2 of Mattch Review. We're going to try and make these happen on a more weekly basis. So if all goes well, I'll be back here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. As far as which game we're going to look at yet, that's going to be a bit of a surprise to you and also to me, because I don't know exactly quite yet. But, as soon as that is figured out, the announcements will be going out on social media, on Discord, and through our weekly email newsletter. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And until next time, hope to see y'all later.
All right. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.